Welcome to another episode of the Chosen Podcast. And today I'm chilling with Ethan Hesqua. Have I got that right?
Yeah, you got it right.
So Ethan is he's a EFC official, and he's also a martial artist enthusiast. How long have you been doing martial arts? Like
It's probably been about 6 years now.
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
So where did you start? If I may,
So,
where did you start? With what did you start and where did you start?
Yeah, so it started with, I used to play cricket. So,
Okay. For St. August.
No,
St.
I
Augustine's.
played for South Peninsula Cricket Club.
Okay.
And we needed a venue for a cricket meeting one day.
Okay.
And I walked into Dean Scott's MMA. It was in Plantation Road.
I remember. I know the
Yes,
place.
it's
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the gym, that gym is no longer there. I believe it's raised now.
Yeah. Ray is there now.
Yeah. And then
Mutai.
Yeah. And then I walked in there and the guy opened up the door and switched on the lights. It was like a movie, the light switches on down the passage there and the bags hanging down the stairs. And the ring in the middle. And I said, listen, I don't know what to do here, but I want to do this.
Yeah.
Guy said, okay, cool, you start Monday. And that's how I started.
Okay.
I started that Monday. I started with boxing. From there, it moved to kickboxing. And then I met a guy there. His name was Wesley Gomez.
Okay.
And he was a Brazilian guy. And he started showing me some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so it also started while I was there, and just as part of fitness, there was a guy by the name of Tyson there as well. And he was showing us just a little bit of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Now, I never knew the
So you were learning like a whole lot of
All the
different
time.
martial arts
Yeah.
at one time. That's interesting.
Yeah. So then from there, that's how it started. And then I met my current coach. They used to train in the ring for upcoming fights and so on, just to get the environment and that type of thing. And then I changed gyms, and I started with Eddie Lala, and I've been there ever since. And I've been there with him for about 5 years now.
Okay.
5 and a bit years.
Did you ever fight like
No,
as
no,
an
no.
amateur or anything like that?
No. I think from there it was always about the training. Yeah, but I mean,
You
from
enjoy the training aspect more than the competitive aspect
Exactly.
of the sport.
Yeah, and also helping the guys get ready and some full fights and things like that.
Okay, that's interesting. Like that you don't see it from a like a lot of guys like go into the ring wanting to knock a other guy out.
Yeah.
Whereas you see it as more of like I would like to prepare somebody for something,
Look, that is insane.
or I would like to prepare myself for something.
Yeah, I mean, getting those guys in when during their water cut and all those type of things, just being part of the team is a big thing. Because guys almost go through hell. I mean, when they're cutting weight and things like that. I mean, I've seen guys drop. I think the most was 8 kilos in a week. And like I looked at the guy and I was like, bro, are you okay? Like, how are you walking? So things like that, being part of that team, being part of that support structure, I think is crucial.
Yeah, and it's interesting to also to consider that because like right now you're EFC official. That is what you prefer doing rather than going in there to take somebody's head off. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it sort of works out like it almost works out perfectly. Like your attitude is right for what your job is like. Or your task is at the night. Oh, that's cool, man. So I want to ask you a question about the downed opponent, right? Since you are EFC official, and this is like a rule of contention, or not everybody understands this rule, and I want you maybe to explain it to me a bit further. So, what is a downed opponent? If you have three, or if my feet is on the floor and my one hand is on the floor, is that considered a downed opponent?
Well, so how this started was that there's oldish and newish rules.
Yeah.
So I know there was a recent UFC where John Jones had need an opponent that was down.
Yeah, and it's like illegal.
Exactly. So
And I've seen it in the EFC as well.
Yeah.
But they let it go ahead.
Yeah. So how they describe it is 3 points. So it could be 2 feet and a hand, or 2 knees and a hand. So 3 points touching the ground. So I know there's a UFC judge that describes it as His name is Herb Dean.
Yeah.
So he says that a downed opponent, your hand has to be flat.
Yeah.
It can't be this.
It must be flat.
It has to be flat. Or this.
Yeah.
This could also work.
Yeah.
But this,
Yeah.
he's very contentious about it. He said, you put your hand on the floor, don't do that, do this, or do this.
Yeah.
So the downed opponent is, as far as I understand it, 3 points being a foot.
And when you are down opponent, you cannot kick that person or you cannot hit that person. Can you hit that person?
You
or
can
you
hit that person, but you cannot kick that person. You cannot knee that person. Or
Okay.
at least knee to the head.
Okay.
I know I've seen strikes that has been allowed to the body, both with the knee, but not to the head. The head is obviously a crucial point. It cannot be struck during a down.
Okay, so this leads me sort of to my next point, and it's like MMA is like seen as like super brutal, like, but there's rules that set in place to make this as well. It is brutal. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It is a bit brutal, but there is rules that's put in place to lessen the. How do I put this, like, to make things not that bad, like and people see it like MMA as like, it's like cage fighting. They consider it cage fighting, and other people consider it as like you can be a martial artist and do it. Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? Like is it just cage fighting, or is it a martial artist? Is there martial arts to it? Is it a brutal sport, or is it a art?
It is definitely an art, as far as I see it. You have guys coming in there with different backgrounds. Like
Yeah.
you have, like if I look at like UFC, you have guys like Sheikh Congo. It's coming in there. That's a full-on striker. Where his jiu-jitsu might not be the best in the world, but I mean his first art is striking.
Yeah.
Which is be it karate,
Which is an
Muay
art
Thai,
form.
Which is an art form. I mean, you have guys that's like also in the UFC, like Damien Maia, who comes in with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, extremely good. Where he's thrown minimal punches and submitted guys really, really quickly. So I do believe it is an art. Just touching on the point that you mentioned earlier in terms of rules and things like that, there are definitely rules that protects fighters.
Yeah.
And sometimes fighters, I mean, the fight gets stopped and it's stopped too early, or
Yeah.
they aren't down, but that is also for their protection.
Yes.
And it is definitely up to the judge. So there's like rules like strikes behind the head, which are not allowed.
Yeah.
A 12 to 6 elbow, which is a strike downward. That things like that are not allowed because of the protection of the fighter.
Yeah.
So I think there's martial arts is definitely an art. You take time out of your day, out of your everyday to learn this martial art, and it changes how you are. I'm living proof of that. I mean, like I said, I used to play cricket. I used to go to college, and I used to check the subway first before, run quickly. That used to be me. It's now that it's not that, for lack of a better word, steak big. But I know that if it were the case, I'd know what to do, and I'd know that if this guy is going to do something and it's not in my best interest, I will hand him whatever he needs.
Yeah.
But I have the confidence to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the key word that you use, like the confidence. Like, it gives you like confidence. Like, even if it's not in the gym, it gives you confidence in your life in other places. So you would maybe like in your job, like it can translate. Like, if you're confident in the gym, it can translate maybe into your job. Like, you can be confident in like taking on new tasks. Because you feel more confident. Like you said, like maybe when you were younger, you were like a little bit scared to go under through the railway or through the subway. Like, but now you feel more confident, so you feel you can do more. And that's ultimately, I think that's an awesome thing that it can do. Like, people don't see that, and I think we need to change the stigma. That's the word that you used actually earlier. Like, we need to change the stigma around cage fighting. Like, it can be considered martial arts, and people should buy tickets to the EFC to come check it out.
Yeah.
Because only once you've been there and you see it for yourself, and then you'll say, okay, right, this is actually quite cool. Like boxing, like, right, like they can hit you, knock you out, right, or knock you down. So knock you down, and you can get back up and fight again. And in this way, you can actually occur more brain trauma than if you had lighter gloves, like, and if you get knocked out first time from MMA. So I'm not saying it's less brutal or less. It's not going to cause less CTE in the long run or anything like that. But they are considering the fighter. Like they are doing things to consider the fighter, and that's what I appreciate about the sport. And yeah, would I want to do it myself? I don't think I got the balls to do it. But that's why I like it so much. Like there's only a few select few men on this planet that's able to stand in the ring and then go up against an opponent. Like
definitely, I mean, there is a huge amount of respect that goes down to people that steps in the cage, that steps in the ring, that steps up to compete at that level. I mean, if you're gonna go and get into a ring or whatever, and there's another guy standing across from you, and you know that guy's, if you don't do anything, that guy's gonna beat you up. And I mean, it takes a lot.
Check it. So let's first chat about. We're gonna chat about the UFC. Who's your favorite fighters in the UFC at the moment? Like,
yo, that's a hard question.
Come on, man. Just name so 2 or 3. Like,
okay, cool.
So not like don't give me a whole long list.
if I were to give you one of all time, it would be GSP.
Okay.
GSP. Everybody knows
I asked this for a reason. It's because I like to see what is your style of fighting and what style you like. Okay, so I already know.
So I like the guy that also a recent champ. He beat Tyron Woodley. I like Kamaru Usman.
He's
just
good
for just how he is, how he composes himself, how he speaks. More of the fighter outside the ring, because he essentially you need to love that. There's a lot, man. Jeez, I like Derek Lewis because he's funny. like the phrase, my balls was up. So guys like that, I mean, it's really hard. I mean, the guy Johnny Walker, he's entertaining.
So he dislocated his shoulder. Did you check that?
So trying to do
he
the
did
worm.
like a worm and he dislocated his shoulder. That's weird.
So there's a few guys. I like the excitement in the fights, and then the technical part, like the Damian Maia. I'm a big Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fan, and to see that actually working, where it shows that you don't need to strike anybody. I mean, unless completely necessary, and that speaks a lot in terms of what happens outside. I mean, it shows that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can be used without harming your opponent on the other side.
Do you like prefer? It's a weird question to ask, but do you prefer Jiu-Jitsu to stand up?
I do. It's so much. I'm gonna receive so much. I like it because there's the two aspects. There's the gi and the no gi. So the gi is, and for lack of a better word, for people who don't know, it's the karate suit.
Yeah.
And then the no gi is normally just the shorts and sweater, but I feel it's completely different. With the gi, you have so much more control, and with the no gi, you need to move quickly. So what do you prefer? I prefer the jiu-jitsu.
So, and in the no gi and gi,
I prefer the gi. The gi is you have so much more control.
So I don't do grappling and stuff like that, but I've heard that bigger guys like the gi because it's a slower, grinding, hard movement for them. Whereas the smaller guys can slip and eel out of things.
Either way, I mean, we've got guys that's really small, that's really good in the gi. That's I stood standing and I'm like, there's nothing I can do, guys. I mean, it's part of the journey, and you face guys of all sizes, and I've had like bigger guys that were really quick. So
can we talk about your gym for a while?
Definitely.
So Ethan trains with Top Gym in Grassy Park under Eddie Lalu. Eddie Lalu is a black belt jiu-jitsu artist, and we had him on. We had him on the podcast before. In your gym, these guys got good guys coming up. It's quite young, like you haven't got a lot of guys on the senior level that's but coming up. Like I think you got two. You haven't got a lot of seniors.
Well, in terms of seniors, we've actually we're growing at this moment. At the
But
moment,
up and coming, you got a lot.
yeah, no, definitely. There's definitely up and coming. I mean, we've got in terms of senior, we've got 3 purple belts.
Who's that?
So it's Margie,
Yeah, Morg, yeah.
and then Suleiman,
Suleiman?
and Ricardo Scully.
Oh yeah. Okay, Ricardo is a purple belt. He got down
Yeah.
recently. I forgot that Ricardo was a purple belt, and then he's like, "No, I'm a purple belt recently." Anyway, and then the next. What's
next-
off that?
So the next, then we've got Lal and Kewen.
Yeah, Lal and Kewen is both very good mixed martial artists.
Definitely.
Besides jiu-jitsu practitioners,
Yeah, those guys are.
they won their recent MMA fights.
yes,
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys are so well rounded, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, from a jiu-jitsu point of view, and they're probably gonna get me after this, but those guys are so well rounded.
Yeah.
So tough on the mat, so tough standing up. Jeez. Quick hands. Fast on the ground. Those guys are.
Any
top.
possibility of them getting into the UFC? Maybe.
I hope. Yeah. So I really hope that they do get there. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's what they want to do, then I really hope that it's they make their way that way.
Oh, wait. Okay. Cool. So last thing we're gonna cover the EFC fight card, like, right? And obviously because you were a EFC official, you can't really have favorites. But I just want you to tell me what you like about these fighters, or what you think they bring to the mat. So first we'll go through Luke Michael and
Conrad Siabi.
Siabi.
Yeah.
There we go, Conrad Siabi.
So-
So first of all, Luke Michael. I know Luke Michael has started with Rico. Rico, am I right?
Rico, I think, yeah.
Yeah, he started there with grappling, and then he moved obviously to fight Fit Militia. What do you think he's got awesome to?
You see, Luke Michael. I've been watching Luke Michael since he's coming up with the jiu-jitsu stuff, and then also amateur MMA. I've been also watching quite closely since years ago. But he's got a hard game. Yeah, I mean, he really does. I've seen him submit guys with a triangle tighter than ever. I've seen triangles.
So he's got a
and arm bars.
dangerous ground game.
and arm bars as well.
What level of is he?
I'm not sure what level he's at
Okay.
the moment. Moving to, I believe he moved to Fight Fit Militia. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Fight Fit Militia around
No,
as of recent.
no, he's in Joburg with Fight Fit Militia.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I believe there is the Kwan University that's.
Oh, is it?
So that's around.
Is that something different now? Oh,
I
sorry.
believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so he's at Kwan University. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's.
Oh, sorry, I got the names.
There's also debate with that. I'm not sure what the current situation
Oh,
is with
okay.
it. I do see that there are clauses with Richie Kwan and the guys that's running that side. So
Okay.
I believe Luke Michael is quite hard. I do believe there's some bad blood between the two of them.
Is it?
Yes, EFC 77. They got in each other's faces a bit, So it's gonna be interesting.
That's not my favorite when they get in each other's faces, and I think that's like sort of like it's like a thing now to be like all talk to like push a fight in the UFC. We don't need to bring that into the EFC because I think the fights itself are that good that they sell themselves. So I don't like it too much when they do that. Like
I agree with you in terms of it's the fights. Guys put on the show in the ring. And that's enough. I think that's enough to sell fights. But I think in terms for the guys not as clued up with the martial arts to see bad blood and then watching this fight, hey, this should be a good fight. I mean, these guys don't like each other, and a lot of people think that fighters really don't like each other. Sometimes that's not the case. I mean, at behind the curtain, the guys are shaking hands, having in fact conversation. So.
Tell me about Conrad. Conrad, does he have a dangerous ground game? Does he have enough on the ground to defend against Luke?
I think he does have on the ground, but I feel he's more of a stand-up guy. Luke has also. Those guys are well-rounded fighters, but I think for me, Luke has a really strong ground game, and it would be for Conrad Zabi to defend that.
To defend
Yeah.
that. Okay, that's interesting. What else can we talk about? Zulu and Hadley. This Hadley guy is a new guy.
Yes, Jake Hadley. I mean, I've only seen videos as of recent now with his fights. I think he's from the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of Zulu Boy. So
Zulu was
hands
in
got-
his previous fight was quite good there. Like I must say, like I didn't expect he was that good. I expected Gary Joshua to win, but I mean that just shows his, because I know Gary Joshua is good, but that just shows the level of how good Zulu is. This Hadley guy, I've seen he's got some dangerous hands. Like from what I've seen, like I've seen him knock out guys actually in the UK. So that'll be quite interesting to see.
I'm so keen on watching that fight.
I think they both got some dangerous stand-up. So we're gonna see. Hopefully, we're gonna see a liquor fiver.
should be
You
a
stand a
good
liquor fiver.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, and then the title fight, Baez versus Biko.
This is gonna be a good one. So Steve, I almost said Lutando Biko.
As his uncle. jokes.
Lutando Biko. He's the current interim champ.
Yeah.
And
We saw him beat what is that guy? Cal Eleanor at the last one.
Yeah.
And that was
Really
beat him.
Yeah.
Right? He handed it to him like in all the round. That was like it was a 5-round, right?
I'm not sure.
It was an interim fight, yeah. It was a 5-rounder, and he handed him to him like he was yo.
Yeah.
But he trains underneath
Chris Bright.
Chris Bright, yeah. He
Hesqua,
trains under
yeah.
Chris Bright, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Bright's got some dangerous ground.
I mean, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I mean, Lutando Biko is a judo black belt as well.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what level of Jiu-Jitsu Lutando's at, but I mean that man's grind is hard, man. That's hard. It's so hard. So the
So he has a judo black belt, so that's why he was taking down Eleanor so well all the time.
I think it's a combo between the judo and the jiu-jitsu. I mean, like we were saying.
Yeah.
Coming from Pesver in PE, Chris Bright is really good.
Yeah.
So I can only expect that Lutando's ground game is.
And obviously, Baez has been the champion for a while now.
Yes.
What do you think about it?
So JP Baez he's been the champion. He's there for a reason. He's a champ for the reason, and I mean, it's just for Lutando to bring it to him. I think he'll definitely do that, and I'm excited for that.
I was
excited.
super keen for the fight. To be honest, I don't know. I've seen Baez. I don't know how to pronounce this, but I saw him fight he fought in was it Pakistan or? Yeah.
Yes, in a different fight.
And he didn't do too well. That's why I saw him. I was like, this is not very impressive. But I think he beat the guy, but he didn't seem dominant. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me that was reading it wrong. But he didn't seem dominant. Like he beat the guy or from disqualification or something like that. But I don't know. I know Yusuf trains out to fight for. Does he train out to fight for, or is it?
Well, I'm not sure who's
So they
exactly
all
in what camp. I know Don Madge is still with Guan University.
Okay.
I mean, Don Madge, obviously the UFC. Well, made his entrance into the UFC. Really good knockout or TKO. Or
But up in Joburg, they got a good camp there, and they're all underneath that. I think there's quite a number. Boyd Allen was under there. Don Madge was there. Pena was there. They were all under training in the gym, and it's quite a good. Seems like quite a good training. They got quite good opponents. They're training partners, so they must be doing awesome up there. Like.
Yeah, no, the skill rate over there is really good. I mean,
iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, champs coming out of there like it's nobody's business. So. I mean, there must be something that guy has, that Richie Kwan is giving them, something in the water, or the skill, like I said.
We've got to give it to Richie Kwan.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they really do.
Yeah.
Also, nice guy. I chatted to him once or twice backstage.
I haven't chatted to him before. Like I've chatted to Don once, like, but I haven't chatted to Richie. So he's a super cool dude.
Cool guy.
Hopefully I get to chat to him at the next EFC. Like, anyway, man, it's been awesome, like chatting to you. I'm definitely gonna have you on again because we got a lot more to talk about, but we only got a certain amount of time to cover. Like, I guess I'll see you at the next EFC. When is the next EFC?
I can't give you exact date. I know it's in April.
14th of April. What is it? 78?
78.
Yeah, EFC 78. Get your tickets at Compy Ticket. And check it out. And me and my homies definitely gonna be. You'll see him you'll see him on the screen. You'll get him on. Where are they? They're on Supersport now. So they're live on Supersport, and I think they delayed on SABC 3. So catch my homie live on SABC 3. Me and my cameraman is gonna be there in the background, like shouting, "Come on!" Anyway, thanks for joining me today, man. It's been awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool.